Greetings, minions and fellow gamers. I haven't found an other adjective to add in there, and in particularly, greetings, Adraden. Just going to show you guys and Adraden my mining technique in Dual Universe. This is pretty much a one-off episode. I'm not doing a real series of this, but I just wanted to give this out as a tip for Adraden, but anyone else can kind of use this as well. Now, the first thing about mining underground, you can do surface mining like crazy, but you got your headlight, turn it on, you get compass heading up top and elevation at the side. So what you want to do, and you try not to mind the grumbling of my refiners there, but you want to aim down, pick a direction, so 90 degrees in this instance, so kind of like that, and then 45 degrees down. Now here I have the harvest tool for number 1, the mining tool number 2, the scanner for number 3, directional detector number 4, and the flatten tool for number 5. And that's kind of important, but really what you want to do at the start is just pick your direction of the cardinal directions of 90 degrees, 180, 270, and 0. Those are all you really need to mainly worry about right off. And then 45 degrees down, and then you just go and control and scroll up to get just the slightly bigger circle. So you have the smallest, and then the next step up, that's usually just good enough to start mining. So we go down 100 meters. I'll try to speed through this a little bit. Okay, so we're down 100 meters as details right there. So we're 100 meters down, first floor. So as you can see, I have a stairway coming down, essentially. And then I have 180 degrees, a triple wide path all the way to the border. So as you can see up here, this goes all the way to the border. And then at 90 degrees, all the way to the border, 0 degrees, all the way to the border, and then kind of kicked around there, and then 270 all the way to the border. So what you do is you have these as your main corridors, your guidelines for where you're at. Now, another thing I forgot to mention is you kind of want to start pretty much from the center of the hex. That helps a great deal. You don't have to, but it helps. But you definitely want to have a triple wide corridor for each of the directions. So what you could do is you can kick on your mining scanner, and you can go through here and watch to see which one you're getting close to. Some you'll be drifting away from, but as you can see, some of them are going farther away, and it says under, or actually getting closer to 200 meters. You can come through and smooth all this out if you want, but it's not necessary. So we just go this way as far as we can. So this isn't really helping. So if you want to figure out, say, a specific mineral, like right now, this hex has nearly 2 million kiloliters of bauxite. So we just select one, and you just try to get it as close to 0 as you can. If it flattens out on your chart, then you're at that level where it could be horizontal to you, or you're on top of it or below it, but you're pretty much in the zone, and you have to kind of figure out from there. So right now we're getting closer, and I know where this particular vein is, or at least a good idea where it's at. So it went back up, it's going down. Alright, so right about in here, you're about 125 meters away. So what you can do is get your miner, or actually get the flatten tool, get you lined up at 180 degrees. Now, if you use a flattening tool and point it at your feet or at the level that your feet's at, it'll make it flat at that level. So 180. So this is a prospect dig. So we'll let this go all the way to the maximum range. Okay, that's as far as it goes. Go back to scanner. Alright, it's staying kind of neutral. Alright, you're going back up. So it most likely is this way. So we'll go back to the flatten tool, line up to 0, which is the opposite direction of the prospect that we just did. Try to keep it on the course. Okay, and we'll go back to the scanner. It looks like it's starting to go down. And yeah, it's kind of laying level. So it's probably, most likely at this point, below us. Because 100 meters from here to ground level, it's not likely to be that high up in the ground. Alright, so let's see. Actually, we can kind of keep going. Let's see. Lined up with a tunnel. Go a little further. Okay. So no real change. So chances are it's below us to the next level. So you'll end up with these prospect holes that you can block up if you actually go through in your inventory and then keep non-precious ore, and you'll dig, collect sand or dirt. And then what you could do is you could go in the mining tool, hold down Alt. I don't have any sand on me right now, but you can block off this tunnel. Okay, and that's how you would do that. You can kind of grid it off where the ore may be. I'll show you where the end of the territory is. Actually, I'm going the wrong way. Now, one of the things that you'll find as a bit of a problem with the game, you see right over here is actually, this is Hal's territory. You can see up here his 2 ships, and then there's our base right there. It's our group's base. But I can dig in his territory, but this hex over here I cannot. And so you'll end up with a situation where if you have ores that are right on the border, or it splits the ore between those 2 borders. Like if I was to get ore right here at the center point, it won't let me take it because it's on their territory and mine. You kind of have to chip away, like come out here if it sticks out, and kind of chip away towards it until you can't collect it anymore. It's a pain in the ass, but that's kind of how it is. But anyways, you come down at 45 degrees, make a triple wide hole or passageway. So this is like the spine to do your prospecting off of. And I'll go down another level, because after you've done this and you've searched everything and nothing is getting quite close to where you're at. Let's see, I think this was a prospect string I did here. Okay, so we come up here a little bit, but come on, move faster. Alright, so this way you'll always have a passageway out. Now, if you want to go down deeper, you come right next to your little stairway, essentially. Come dig at 45 degrees at your opposing angle to this. So this was coming down at 90, at the 90, or no, it was, yeah, it was at 0. No, this was at 90, okay. Alright, so the opposite would be 270, and you dig diagonally down 100 meters. Get down here. Okay, so you leave a rock formation here so you can see where you go back up. Otherwise, you get lost kind of easy down here. Again, I made triple wide, triple wide, triple wide. This is just going through with a flattening tool. You make the initial pass to go straight out that way, and then I usually come back so I don't chew this all up, and just go to the side and just go like that. It's a little bit time consuming, but considering that there could be ore between 200 and 100 meters, and it's easier to go through these walls and then angle up or whatever you have to do, you can always come back to here and be like, okay, I'm near the center. I can find my way to the center to get back out or to go deeper. So let's look at our scans. Let's get all of these on here, and we'll get a couple scan waves going here. Okay, so I've already come through and mined stuff down to this level. I'm just starting at the 300 feet level. I might have missed something. Okay, so right now it leveled out and now it's starting to go back up. So we'll go slow. Okay, we're right about in here. Get one more pulse there. Alright, so right about in here. Get that out. Go 90 degrees. So we'll go as far as it'll dig. Okay, then we'll come in here. Alright, now we're getting closer to this one vein. And because I have the skills set up with the talents for mining and inventory. For one, I could be over 1,500 kilometers away, or 1.5 kilometers away rather, from my, I forgot to link to it, but I can link up to a container and be all the way down 1.5k away from it, and it'll go to it. So that's one skill I did right off the bat. That's primary container augmentation. It's maxed out. Okay, so each one of these is 250, and I think we have initially 250 or 400 meters. So this is stacking on top of all that. All right, and then scanner upgrades, detector upgrades. I'm surprised I didn't do this one, but this is for the time to mining tool max sphere. That's not a real big deal. Worked on those, but yeah, you just keep doing this. So we're getting closer to, what is this? All right, boss site. That's what I want. Yeah, come on, there we go. So we'll get a little closer, 90 degrees, like that. Aim at the floor and holding the mouse button down to keep it making at this level. Okay, so we're good. Alright, we're getting closer. Really close. Now, a few more feet and then I can either go to the short range, which it isn't quite in short range yet, or sometimes, because I'm so used to doing this, I can eyeball it. We'll go back to flatten tool. Lined up here. So go as far as it'll dig, and I won't dig anymore. Go back to scanner. Alright, now we're getting into short range. Yeah. So we'll look at it here in short range. So it's coming down there. I think my detector can detect, I think, a 40, maybe a little bit above. So let's see this. Let's work this out here. So I'm looking for bars right up in here. Alright, right up there is where the ore is at. So from here, we'll dig a 45-degree hole. I'll go at 90. Go as far as it'll dig. Okay, we'll check to make sure it's still... Alright, we're coming up beside it. That's fine. Alright, before we get any further, well, we're not level with it yet. Okay, so it's right over in there. Alright, 90. 45. You don't exactly have to be like at 90 degrees or whatever a cardinal degree at this point. Is just to get to the ore. But it does help to try to grid in on it. Alright, so come here. Where are ya? Okay, so I'm kind of lost it. Oh. There we are. Alright. So we're kind of at the right level here. You see we're at 0 degrees inclination, and it's there. So I'll go to the flatten tool. Flatten this area out, and then head towards the deposit. Yep, there we are. So what I usually do is I will come around the deposit and just uncover as much as I can at this level. And it also gives me a level spot to walk around with a mining tool and dig it all up. But this will uncover a ring around the deposit. And I ain't linked up to a container, which I forgot to do. I just started the game up. But if you're linked to a container, all this stuff will instantly get shunted to that container instead of your personal inventory, which is kind of limited. Alright, so I just kind of go from the edges. Just walk around and go at it pretty slow and steady. Just make sure that all the edges are kind of nipped before you get into the main body of it. And like I said, I do have my talents boosted up already for mining, so your range might be different. But yeah, that's why I wanted to go full scale on those skills at the very beginning, because it helps me get this stuff pretty fast and easy. It also gave me time to figure out how to best create a technique to mine this stuff, because when I mined on Sanctuary, I kind of went a little crazy. And I just, oh, it's right underneath my feet, I'm going to just dig here. And that's why my plot on Sanctuary is looking more like a pockmarked moon than a lunar surface than a nice grassy area. And thankfully this didn't have all that much. But oftentimes you'll have a big cavern after all this, all dug out, leaving all the dirt behind. Which is why having a nice flat area that circumvented around it, or whatever the term is, you know what I mean. Having an area that's flat around it, helps you being able to find your way back. So apparently I came in through here. There was the deposit. This was actually a pretty small deposit. I've seen some, I think, that's had 100K of certain material, and it spanned like 2 or 3 different territories. So anyways, you come back down, you know, it helps you find your way back down. Now you're in your prospect hole. And now you're in a main concourse, I guess you can call it. And since I don't have a container linked, I need to go back up and link to a container. And knowing that the center of the map is where this stairway is, it's easy to get back to it. So zoom up through the hole. So it's kind of like a spiral staircase, or kind of like a staircase in a high-rise building. It kind of goes back and forth. And there's the boss site. Boom. Gotta link up. And because the game has been acting weird lately, I have to do it twice. There, I'm linked. And then I can just go right back down in again, and I can find even more stuff really, really quickly. And I'm 200. And I put on this side, but this is one down to 300. And I just want to show one last thing to end this. Let's see. Is it that way? I think it was this way. So yeah, if you go down 100 meters, make these concourses, and then do prospect lines across to kind of get narrowed in on your target ore, it makes it so much easier than just worming your way all over the place and getting lost. If you do that kind of thing, one technique you could do is force respawn, but make sure you have a resurrection pad down, or else you'll get taken back to the district. And make sure it's a resurrection pad at your above ground base. This here is an example of over 100K boss site removed out of here. And this part here was a little over into Hal's area. And as you can see, I mined the shit out of this. That was a lot, and I had to get my way back up here. I couldn't even go all the way around it because it was crazy. But as you can see here, that's Hal's territory. That's someone else's territory. And I can't mine this. Well, I can't even get in close to try, but you see, you kind of like tap it, let it build a second, and try to nip off the edges. But as you can see, the marker is all red, and it won't give me permission to do that. So you just do these little light taps. You can chew a little bit off here. Another way to do it is you get near here, and you see, well, for that turn red and chew it away. But what you do is you hold it down and let the circle get really big, even when it turns red, and then drift until it turns yellow again, and then do it, and that'll nip up as much as you can off of this border. I might want to figure out who owns this hex right here and talk to the guy and see if he can mine down this level. Like say, hey, I found some bauxite down 300 meters down right on the border, and there's some on my side and some on your side. I can mine it all up if you can give me permission to temporarily access your property. I'll just get this and I'll split what I dig up from my side in half with you. Type of arrangement to be able just to get this off the property. You know what I mean? And then afterwards, just you can not allow me to get back on your property or whatever, but just be a good neighbor. But anyways, that is mining close to the border, and sometimes the pain in the ass thing for having skills that grant me great range is that I will detect minerals on other hexes, and I won't know it until I get down here and be like, oh, I can't get on this property, and there's a bunch of iron over there or something, and it'll stay popping up on my chart, and no matter what I do, it'll stay on the chart. That's a big time pain in the ass. I wish the game would only make it so that it detects on the hex that you're on. But as you can see, there's a lot of stuff close by. The boss site, I think it's probably detecting what's right here on the border. But as you can see, I'm going this way, and the lines are going down, and that means getting real close to something here. I can actually detect it from here. So another thing is when you mined out a deposit and you have your directional detector, you'll have to clear out. So you go through and you got your scanner, you've cleared out an ore deposit, you'll have to get it to pulse. You can also manually let it pulse by hitting Alt. It isn't always accurate that way, but alright, here we are, close and far away. Alright, and now we get the directional detector. And I usually just kind of go in a search pattern. Alright, so right directly down there. So what I would do is I would come off to the side here. I'm going to find it again. So somewhere right in here. So I'll get back to 45 degrees. At 90. Go down as far as that will go. Okay, we're 20 meters away, so that's good. and it can be kind of elusive. Okay, now it's telling me it's that way. And since it's... yeah, it's a whole wall there. So what I'll do is flatten tool. So we have a little spot to go back up. Make sure we're on course. Yep. Alright, this is quartz. Okay, great. So we'll go around it. This was a nice little find, actually, because I am kind of needing some quartz for silicon back at my base on Sanctuary. Pipes and screws don't make themselves, you know. And this is a pretty hefty deposit. Now sometimes you'll have a real hard time tracking these things down, especially early on when your skills aren't up in mining. But you'll get used to it. There's something to it that where you'll naturally get a knack for it, you know. It took me mining the unholy hell out of Sanctuary, my property there, to really be good at it, or to get good at it. Now that I'm on Alioth, I can take what I learned there on Sanctuary and apply it here, and I'm going to be constantly improving on the technique. But hopefully you won't have to get down into these spots here, and if you have to, well, make sure you have a means of getting back up to this level. Now occasionally, when you mine these, you'll find out that there's another deposit quite close nearby. Like if you're at you have to be like at the bottom and you realize that it's close by. Instead of going back and then digging another tunnel, you can actually do another technique that I do. I don't know if it'll apply here. We'll find out here in just a minute here. Now another thing to note is the circle has a little bit of a buffer to it. So you see it as wide as it gets. You can actually kind of narrow it down. So you look at the top, you see how the circle is just barely covering this. And that'll get all the strays, I guess you can call them. Alright, get down in there. And again, you just go to the edges and just trim them off. This will also help you figure out the overall width and depth and height of the deposit. And I was really surprised when I came across the 100K deposit, just that it went over and across 3 different territories, and it just never seemed like it was ending. And it was like, holy crap. And as you can see, it's not going in my inventory, it's going into the link container. But yeah, you can stand here on like this, the ledges that you make around here, and just don't even have to really move too much to get the majority of it. And there'll be some that might be on the floor in like a little corner or something, like underneath me here. I didn't get in there yet, but you just walk around the ledge and it'll get you to pretty much every angle that there's a little patch of ore in. So I'll get the remainder of this. Now, for anybody else that's watching, you know, I'm originally making this video for a Drayden because the video he put out today, he didn't seem like he knew too much about mining, and Haladmer was showing him how he does it, and I typed out a comment to him telling him basically what I've already said in this video, but I wanted to show it in action, because you could type it and it doesn't necessarily resonate until you, sometimes with some people, until you see it. Alright, so it looks like I've got most of that, if not all of it. We'll get the scanner going, and we'll just walk around here. Alright, see that? Now there's no more line here, so that means we got everything in this deposit. So go back to long range. Now, it doesn't apply here, but I'll show you what I do if there is a deposit like lower down. Try to get in the lowest spot you can in the ore deposit hole. Alright, and then go to flatten tool, flatten at your feet, so you have a nice flat area. Alright, then you go, in this case I'll go 270. Now you can do that, and then you can go 180. Good enough for now. And then 90 degrees. Okay, and then lastly 0. So now you got your cardinal directions. Okay, and then you get out your scanner, and I don't think there's anything. Well, there might be. Let's see, we'll go looking around this way. Okay, so whatever this is, I think it might be bauxite. Yeah. So this is probably a deposit over this way, or maybe, I don't know, it could be detecting, I don't know, let me see. So I went down to here at the end of this hallway, and it's going back up, so it's not at that direction. And it's going back up a lot, so it's definitely not this direction. So whatever ore is out there, in this particular case bauxite, it's likely in this, but I'm gonna go and do all of these directions. Okay, so it's definitely in this direction. The reason why I wanted to check this one and this one is it could be something in between, and you can kind of figure that out, you know, kind of zone in on it. So what I do is I just keep going this way. It's going down, Okay, go back to scanner. So yeah, I would just keep following this path down and just kind of triangulating in on where the ore is and mine it, and then making sure I can get back up and get out, because I don't want to get trapped in here. I don't want to dig another hole upwards. But if you do, I usually just, if I'm in an emergency situation where I have to get out, I don't want to panic, obviously, I would just, again, watch over here, 45 degrees, pick a cardinal direction, and so you gotta go up, and then I would just dig, backtrack it so it goes back this way. Once you get up to the top of that one, 90, dig, and just seesaw back and forth until you get to a familiar spot or the surface. That's kind of my best advice. I'm probably going to do the rest of this mining node here, but I think that's as much as I can tell you right now as a tip for mining, and I hope it helps. This works best for me. It might not work for you guys or you, Drayden, so you might have to find your own little system, but this kind of gives it a little bit more form. It keeps your tunnels looking somewhat nice if you really care about looks, but when it comes to the looks, if you keep it nice, it makes it easier to find your way back out. So it's a little form and function. Instead of having ant farm type of paths going every which way and then getting lost, this will help you get out and keep it sorted. So anyways, I hope that helped. Thanks for watching, and until next time, with most likely another game, see you later. Twitch.